Howard Johnson. Now that is a fine hotel chain. Most of you know that Benjamin and I thru-hiked the Appalachian Trail, which means we hiked continuously for 5.5 months. Some of you know that for a time we hiked with a group of people. In fact, it fluctuated in size, but it was pretty much consistently between 6 and 10 different individuals. Now, that doesn't mean literally we're all hiking side by side, but every night we would end up at the same campsite, and eventually we forged a bond and decided, well, hell, why not, try and do this together for as long and far as we can. And that's no easy task, because everybody goes a different pace, in life and on the trail. So you have someone like Lotus, Stephanie, who is this badass, and still is, this badass woman who started the trail by herself. She was probably the last person who started in 2013 southbound to make it all the way to Katahdin before they closed. She was one of the fastest hikers I have ever seen. And then you have, a two-spirit individual. You have the Marine, completely fit. He can out-hike anybody, and he's also a fabulous gay man. And a porn star. That's true. You have Angela, the amazing woman who is about to take the theater world in New York and China by storm. You have quite a group. Genesee, the poet from Buffalo. You have quite a group of people. And we fancied ourselves creatives. And so we had to come up with a name worthy of the group. And so we decided that we would be called the Tribe. Well, let me tell you, that is a very popular choice. As we're heading north, we're like, oh yeah, we're the Tribe. We're signing into all the little books that are along the way on the trail in the shelters, and we're looking through the old pages, and it's like, the Tribe of 2013, marked a month ago. The Tribe of 2013, marked 2 months ago. Okay, maybe not so original, but we were a really fast-growing group of friends who have a bond to this day. Well, on July 4th, we needed to mark that date with some kind of special arrangement. So we decided that we were all going to hike at our own paces and make it to this town in Virginia. As chance would have it, that week, as we split up, the rains began to pour. God said, "Fuck you! I will do my best to keep all of you from this town." Well, again, the Marine, nothing's gonna stop him. Lotus, nothing's gonna stop her. Benji and I, we're doing our best. We're doing our best. We're making do. Our feet are swollen. We're getting there. So July 4th finally comes, and as it happens, we're only 10 miles away from the town. We're all set to meet, and the faster hikers said, okay, we're gonna go into town, probably the 3rd. We're gonna find the coolest looking guy and the coolest looking gal. We're gonna say, hey, where's the party tonight? We're gonna buy all the booze, and we're gonna party it up on July 4th, light some fireworks, which might not even be legal here. So they did that, but we were still behind. We had 10 more miles to go, and the rain was everywhere. Everything was flooded. In fact, as we were walking through the rain, everything began to get distorted. I remember at one moment, Benjamin stops, and suddenly his back straightens, and he looks into the woods, and he goes, "Look!" And you see something running away. And he goes, "It's a werewolf!" Now, it was a bear. Bears actually run like werewolves. Little known fact. But Benjamin swears it was a daytime werewolf, and that did not count as his first sighting of a bear. Well, we keep hiking, discussing whether it was a werewolf or bear. And we're about a mile away, and we get to a crossing over a stream. But the stream is no longer a stream. It is a river. And so we have to decide whether we're going to lift up our packs and wade through the waters, or we're going to try and find our own way. And all of you know Benjamin. Do you think he's going to get his little princess ass wet? No way! But Benjamin is very creative, and he goes, look right there, railroad tracks. I bet the railroad tracks lead to town. So we got off the trail and went on those railroad tracks. Now, at this time, we had only our iPad, or no, not iPad, that's too big. iPod, there's too many I's. The one that doesn't have the phone service, yes, and is small. So we had an iPod to listen to podcasts, but no phone. Well, it's starting to get a little bit dark, and it's July 4th. We want to party, and we're heading down these railroad tracks. How the hell are we going to get into town? We can't contact anyone. As luck would have it, the railroad tracks led to a road, a really windy road, but that road led into town. So Benjamin was right. Now we probably went about 5 miles out of our way to get into town, but we didn't have to ford that river.
Hey, what happened to the people that forded that river?
Some of their gear got lost. I was going to get there, I promise. All right, I'm going to try and I promise that I will tell this story in its entirety another time. I'm going to try and fast forward it right now. All right, so July 4th, we finally make it into town. For some reason, it turns out, and I'm sure people who lived before cell phones can attest to this, things just work out. We found our friends without use of a phone. We found them. We went to the hotel, and there were multiple hotels, but we knew, Howard Johnson, it has a pool. Has to be it. So we went to Howard Johnson, and we went to the front desk, asked them, hey, are these names here? And a few of them were there, so we checked in with them. And, you know, we were not the best roommates to have. I mean, you're talking about, not roommates, but we're not the best necessarily hotel guests to have. Because hikers, they come in and they're sort of like a disease that slowly spreads throughout your whole body. And that's exactly what happened to this Howard Johnson hotel. So it began in a room, one room, with way too many hikers. I think you're only supposed to have 4 people. We probably had 8. We made it work. The next day, we got to have breakfast, and then it was time to leave. Pack up, get out. Hikers don't leave like that. And we get to relax, we just got here. We're still partying, it's July 5th. There's a pool, we didn't get to swim yesterday. So we all head to the pool, and our gear is soaking wet, so everyone lays it out along the pool. So 8 people's gear is just everywhere. And there's a family with a little boy swimming and 8 stinky hikers sitting around like, hey, don't mind us. That's probably where the smell's coming from. Now we wanted to swim, but we're not going to take our swim trunks. So, of course, we can't skinny dip, there's a little kid. So we have to do something. So we all put on our boxers or something like that, a shirt, and we jump into the pool, and we're swimming and hanging out as our clothes sun dry. The sun is an amazing dryer. And we're waiting, and before long, a staff member comes by. And they say, excuse me, are all of you still checked into the Howard Johnson? No, I ran up at 11 and it's like 2. Yeah, well, we'll let you be at the pool for a little bit longer, but you cannot swim in boxer shorts. That is inappropriate. So we got out of the pool, waited for the staff member to leave, and then jumped back in. Waited for our stuff to dry, and then eventually we said, all right, it's time to leave, let's go. We're going to hike to the next shelter, it's 2 miles away. But then we realized, oh, fuck, we're hungry, we're hikers. We're like the hungry hippos, we just eat and eat and eat. And there is a Mexican restaurant right across the street calling our name. So we went to the Mexican restaurant, and it's 3 o'clock, which means it's happy hour. So we had margaritas. I don't remember if we ate food, but we had margaritas. And by the time we got out, it was starting to be sundown. It was 6 o'clock, and we're like, man, I'm feeling really good. Let's hike this 2 miles. We can totally do this. And the first few steps were awesome. And then it was awful. And we all decided this is not happening. Should we go back to the Howard Johnson? And our friend's like, no man, we don't have any money left. But look up ahead. Up ahead was a house, an abandoned house. That looks like the perfect place to stay the night. So we explored it. Now this house was actually really cool. They had an entire bamboo forest surrounding it. And if you've ever seen a bamboo forest, all the trees are so close together, and it's so fun to just like squeeze yourself through them. Now the house itself, it was boarded up windows, but you could see inside in some places and like kids' toys scattered about. And you know, just the perfect place for a homicidal maniac to just take us all out. Now, we were not terrible people. We didn't like break in. We tried all the doors and windows, of course. But when we found them all locked, we decided, you know what, it's gonna be a nice night. There is a roofed porch right here in the backyard. We're all gonna sleep. So we weren't quite tired yet. We're still buzzed off tequila. So one of our friends goes, wanna do some narcotics? I'm not gonna tell you what kind of narcotics we did, but let's just say we fell into a hole, and it was a lot of fun. The next morning, we wake up hungover, and it's finally time to hike on, right? But I woke up a little bit later than the others, and by the time I wake up, it's like Benjamin and a couple of our friends, and the rest are gone. And I'm like, oh, did they hike ahead? And one of our friends says, oh no, man, they went back to Howard Johnson for the free breakfast. So we went back to Howard Johnson, and we stole a free buffet breakfast. Woo!